can't believe I'm seeing people and you're not in little squares. It's kind of amazing to be here, and thank you. I wish we could do something about the heat. 19 years ago, in that hopeful April following 9/11, Bob and I introduced the first Tribeca Film Festival. Now, I was sure of a couple of things. First, bring people back downtown, celebrate our community's resilience, doing it with movies. It would be a one-off. The second thing I was sure of is that if there were to be another festival, it would get easier. Well, the next 19 years were not without its challenges, but generally, I was right about that first one being the most difficult, until this year. The 2021 Tribeca Film Festival, our 20th, is North America's first major in-person film festival in over a year. No one has been left unscathed by this pandemic. We have lost friends, families, jobs, and life savings. The absence of not being able to gather took its toll in profound and emotional ways and psychological ways that we'll still find out for years to come how that's affected all of us. Yet, in other ways, the past year has brought us closer than ever before. We learned that a workplace is not just coming into an office. It's about staying connected by any means necessary. Okay, so we all know how to Zoom now, and we can FaceTime and dial in and whatever, but come on, there is nothing like seeing each other in person. Only by being together can we truly begin to reopen, reconnect, and celebrate. In my opening remarks for the first festival in 2002, I said, our craft as filmmakers can help us mourn, remember, and honor. Now let us begin to use our craft to celebrate the future. We never imagined that our founding message of hope and revitalization would be so relevant in our 20th year. Today, we are putting on our most ambitious festival yet. We hope to once again be a symbol of resilience and a source of joy. Artists, like all of you in this room know, can convene audiences unlike anyone else. It's through the arts that we learn our cultural history, develop acceptance for each other, and find ways to actually listen to each other. We started planning this festival during the height of the pandemic. We didn't know if we could really pull it off, but no was never an option. The limitations imposed by COVID forced us to reimagine what a film festival could be. At one point, we wanted to hang screens from the Brooklyn Bridge and the Manhattan Bridge. We wanted to have barges floating down the Hudson and people watching movies on the shoreline. It was insane. But then reality set in. Ka-ching. All kidding aside, in the end, we found something that was even better. We live and work in New York, the greatest city in the world. So, welcome to your Big Apple multiplex. Starting tonight, 2 40-foot LED HD screens will travel to 5 boroughs. We'll have outdoors theaters across the city, including right here on Pier 76, screening free to the public. Later today, we're going to Washington Heights to open the festival with In the Heights by master storyteller John M. Chu and Lin-Manuel Miranda. While we never forget that our roots are firmly planted in New York City, the Tribeca Festival has become an international event. This year's feature creators from India, Brazil, Sudan, Qatar, Wales, Finland, and Staten Island. We're screening in Staten Island too, so don't miss that. Our commitment to diversity goes beyond our film choices. It's in our DNA. The whole world is talking about diversity behind the camera and diversity in the office. This isn't new to us. Tribeca has always been intentional about having diverse voices within the company, and of course, the stories that we select. We're a majority women-run organization. More than 2/3 of our features this year were directed by women, BIPOC, and LGBTQ+ filmmakers. It takes more than a village to produce Tribeca. I couldn't begin to name all of the people who are making this year's festival a reality. Our new partners at Lupus Systems, led by James Murdoch, thank you for your belief and support in Tribeca as we move into the next decade. And I have to particularly thank our extraordinary leadership team. Paula Weinstein, Pete Torres, Sandy O'Haron, Jackie Hassel, Eileen Rodriguez, Patty Newberger, Gloria Jones, and Nancy Lefkowitz. I can't thank you enough for all the work that you actually have done for the film festival and for our community, but a note of personal thanks. I know that without all of you, I wouldn't be able to get up in the morning, so thank you. And then there's Bob. Thank you for giving me the opportunity of a lifetime. Oh dear, over 30 years ago. And I thought that was only gonna last a year. And now it's my honor to introduce one of our biggest supporters. He guided New York through the COVID crisis with confidence and determination. He fought for the resources to make sure we could all get vaccinated and our communities could make it through this unimaginable storm. And now he is leading us through the reopening while making sure we are safe. He has galvanized us to rebuild, renew, and reimagine even a film festival. Please welcome my friend, Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Beautiful. Thank you. How beautiful is this, isn't it? Forget the weather, a little warm, but we are together, and there are smiles, and there are faces, and there is humanity restored. Amen. We made it. We made it. We made it. We made it together. Let's give a big round of applause to the entire Tribeca team who really did a great job. Paula Weinstein, Nancy Lefkowitz. Jane Rosenthal is a force of nature. She is not kidding when she said that she would plan movies hanging off the Brooklyn Bridge and the Manhattan Bridge. She called me up and she said, "What's the state's policy regarding movie screens hanging from the Brooklyn Bridge?" I said, "I have no idea what the state policy is." But she was determined that Tribeca was going on and she was going to find a way, and she did. Let's give her a big round of applause. We have Steve Cohen here, who's head of the Empire State Development Corporation, works with Tribeca. Melissa DeRosa, secretary to the governor, who works with Tribeca. Let's give them a round of applause. To all of you, the judges, the jurors, the masters of the craft, I have great respect for you. I also understand the integrity of the progress. In truth, I called Jane, and I said, "Jane, you know, I would like to be a judge this year in Tribeca." And Jane said, "No." And I said, "Well, maybe I could just be a juror. I can be on a panel." She said, "No." I said, "How about if I'm an honorary juror and I vote, but you don't have to count my vote? I'm just an honorary juror." She said, "No." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because you have no expertise whatsoever in the area." I thought, a little harsh, a little frank, a little candid, but true. You are the expert. So give yourselves a round of applause for being part of this. I want you to appreciate where you are today. You are on Pier 76. You don't know what Pier 76 is because Pier 76 did not exist before today. As a matter of fact, later this afternoon, we're actually going to cut the ribbon on this new pier. This was the New York City tow pound. This was where you came when your car got towed. It was a metal shed. That's what it was. It was a metal shed. I know none of you got your car towed. That's okay. It was a metal shed where basically cars were parked, and it was that for 23 years. 23 years ago, the Hudson River was being redone, and we set up the Hudson River Park Trust. And 23 years ago, New York City signed an agreement that said they would make their best efforts to move the tow pound as soon as possible. 23 years. But as part of our lesson of COVID, seize the day, seize the moment, make things happen. After 23 years, the tow pound is gone. This is going to be a beautiful public space on the Hudson, looking into the river, one of the most beautiful views and pieces of real estate in New York City, restored to the public. And we're going to do that today, and you're the first ones who are on the pier. So thank all the people that made that happen. I also want us to remember today that we celebrate Tribeca's 20th anniversary. And we celebrate 20 years of what has become an institution in this city and this state. An institution that reminds us that the arts are the energy and the rhythm of New York. The arts are what make New York, New York. It is the creative tension that is New York City. It brings people from all across the globe. And Tribeca has institutionalized that every year in this film festival. That is a remarkable accomplishment. But I want you to remember where Tribeca was conceived and why it was conceived. After 20 years, it's hard to remember conception. But Tribeca was conceived post 9/11. That's why Tribeca was started. Because after 9/11, the entire city was depressed and distressed. New York was a target, an international target. And people believed it was damning for the future of New York. And it was damning for the future of downtown. Nobody wanted to go downtown because, God forbid, that's the memory. God forbid, that might be a place of attack. And Tribeca said, we are more resilient than that. We have more strength than that. You're not going to put New York down. Yes, you can knock us down. But we're going to get back up, and we're going to get back up together. That's what formed Tribeca. It was that catalyst, that galvanizing of human spirit, post 9/11. And then it went on for 20 years. The post-COVID moment is much like the post-9/11 moment when you think about it. COVID hit New York, and it hit New York hard. It knocked New York right on its tuchus, as we would say in Italian. And a lot of people pointed their finger at New York. A lot of people left New York. New York was isolated. And a lot of people said it was those people in New York, just almost as if we had something to do with the cause of the COVID infection. Ignorant, divisive, but that was the tone last year. And many people blamed New York for New York's own demise with the COVID infection rate. Now, ignorant, because as Scott Burns will tell you, we had nothing to do with the fact that COVID came here. China, China, China. Yeah, the virus may have started in China, but the virus went to Europe, and nobody knew. With all the great federal expertise and all the alphabet soup of agencies, nobody knew. It went from China to Europe, and the flights were coming from Europe to New York, from Italy, from Spain, from France, and they were bringing COVID here for months before we knew it. And we had the highest COVID rate on the globe. On the globe. And the lights on Broadway went dark, and the music in the garden stopped, and the sounds of sirens became the sound of the city. And it was desperate. But you know what New Yorkers did? New Yorkers came together, and New Yorkers rose up, and New Yorkers said, we will make it work. We will get past ourselves and our fears. And from that desperation came a spirit of community that I haven't seen in my lifetime as a native New Yorker. And people were there one for the other. And that's what the mask is all about. I wear a mask for you, you wear a mask for me. I wear a mask because I care about you. And you wear a mask because you care about me. And we did it. New York went from the highest COVID infection rate on the globe to today, where New York State has the lowest positivity of any state in the United States of America. That's what we did. So, my friends, never underestimate what the power of unity and the power of community and the power of love can do. We've never really tried that proposition in this nation. Division is easier. Anger is easier. Hatred is easier. But love is more powerful. And that's what brought New York through this storm, was love. Tribeca celebrates that spirit today. Just as they did bring everyone together post 9/11, they bring everyone together post-COVID. This is the reopening of New York. We are back. We have announced that we are going to hit 70% vaccination rate. We're going to hit it early. We're going to relax virtually all of the restrictions. Today, we are at 69.1%, so we're 9/10% away from liberation. And by the time Tribeca is over, we're going to be there. And it is fitting that as Tribeca led us through 9/11, Tribeca has beckoned us through COVID. I want to present 2 awards, one to Jane Rosenthal and one to Robert De Niro, because the greatest journey starts with a single step, and to get through what we got through requires a combination of determination, skill, ability, and leadership. Leadership. Somebody who stands up and somebody who believes and somebody says, I'm going to plot a different course. That is Robert De Niro. He represents the best of New York. The talent, the strength, the resilience, the backbone, the values, the principles, the outspokenness. That is Robert De Niro. He is New York tough. And Robert De Niro and Jane Rosenthal are the dynamic duo and an unbeatable team. Thank you, and God bless all of you. You have the flag? Jane, if you would come up and claim these very heavy state awards. Or I will bring them to you. Whatever you want, Jane, as usual. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert De Niro and Jane Rosenthal. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you to all of you. This is really about our entire team and everybody. It's also about the essential workers and people who have kept this city running when all of us were at home. So we thank everyone, and we're going to have a great festival. Thank you.
I want to thank Andrew. Thank you, Andrew.
All right.